Hello everyone, this is Pleiadian Star Healer and welcome to this week's What the Fuck Forecast. Now this week upon request, I'm doing a What the Fuck forecast based on relationships. Now if you want to have your idea mentioned in the next What the Fuck forecast, feel free to leave a comment in the comment below, or if you follow me on social media, you can also request your forecast through there as well. So with this one, we're going to discuss the what the fuck energy surrounding relationships, the hidden energy behind it, the lesson or the purpose, and how to cope with the things that are happening in the relationship, and how to possibly shift those what the fuck moments in relationships into a blessing. So now we're going to begin with what is the current energy surrounding relationships this week. And we have listen, and we have the seeker. So I feel like for some relationships right now, there definitely could be issues with communication, especially in terms of listening. I find that we often do a lot of talking, but not effective listening. So definitely, there is some things that need to be worked on. You know, perhaps it might feel like one-sided. Perhaps one of you are not feeling heard. And one of you is trying to seek out each other, you know, like the connection to get to the truth of the matter. So perhaps there's, in the relationship, it could feel where there has to be both efforts in the relationship. So both have to be practicing effective communication and effective listening. So that requires where everyone speaks truthfully, speaks what they feel, what they want, without interruption, without defensiveness. You know, basically how everyone should have the floor when they are speaking, and then the other person then shares what they want and what they feel is the truth about how they feel or about the relationship at hand. So, and I feel for some of you, you may feel like there's something wrong within the relationship or something doesn't seem right. And so this is basically asking you to listen to your inner voice and to let yourself be guided towards the truth, you know, to follow it. Because, you know, we don't get those like nudges, you know. And as they say, for those who look, find. So I feel like this is definitely, with the seeker card, I feel like it's definitely time to go back to the drawing board, you know, and see how you can fix the relationship or officially like put it to rest. Because this is the time of great transformation. Since all this relationship, if you're going through these struggles right now, is happening during Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, which I feel, if it hasn't already, it already has transitioned into Libra. So definitely this is a good time to really figure out what needs healing in the relationship, and how, what you both are going to do to fix it, or to really be honest with yourselves and say, and to call it quits and say, you know what, like this really isn't working. We have to be honest with ourselves and each other, and just leave it at that, leave it at a peaceful ending, you know. For those who are single looking for relationships, I feel like this is a time where you need to listen to the unhealed parts of you that keeps you from having healthy relationships with others. And while doing this and listening to those unhealed parts of you and really trying to heal that, you can bring about manifesting healthy relationships. So seeking out the truth of what really keeps you from connecting with others, and listening to those repressed, unhealed parts of you that, because perhaps you may find yourself where you might be interested in someone, or there might be some type of connection and it doesn't work out, and then you find yourself saying like, how come, I perhaps have like bad luck in love and things like that. So this is definitely a time, because especially during retrograde, for you to look within and really listen to the parts of why things could not be working. Perhaps you need to still do some work so that when you do find the right person, you're not, as you have seen, you're not bleeding on them from past experiences. And also, it prevents you from attracting similar like patterns in relationships. So if you have a certain type that tends to gravitate towards you, by listening to those unhealed parts and really figuring out the truth and basis of them, you can choose a more healthy and appropriate partner for yourself. Okay, so that is the current like what the fuck energy that's happening in relationships. So now we're gonna go to what is a hidden energy behind this what the fuck energy. It's been really rough for relationships, and I feel like for people in general. I found that this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio has been the worst I've ever seen. So what is the hidden energy behind it? And we have we have control. Okay. And we have boundaries. Okay. So perhaps in relationships, perhaps one of you or even both parties, you're in your own way are trying to control each other or controlling the relationship, perhaps even overstepping each other's boundaries. And I feel like here definitely like the hidden energy behind this is like you need to release, that control of the outcome or the present situation of the relationships. Because perhaps, because sometimes we just don't want to let go. For some of you, it's you just don't want to let go. And sometimes things are happening because they're trying to end things to bring it so where other things can be more in alignment with you. Perhaps the person you're with is not in alignment with you. But on the other hand, this could also be the time where, there needs to be some type of separation in the sense of where each party can listen to themselves, as you saw with the other card, to really understand what is it that they want out of the relationship. And so in order for that to happen, you need to let go of control and just go with the ebb of flow of life, like let things happen. And for some of you, perhaps you find yourself in a very controlling relationship. So you definitely need to listen to yourself, and you stand in your truth, and definitely lay down some boundaries. So if the relationship has been feeling, like all of a sudden people are just trying to, that person's really trying to control everything you do, or trying to force you into doing things, or, just putting you under a lot of pressure, this is the perfect time to honor yourself and to honor your boundaries. For some of you, things could be feeling a little out of control. So definitely, it's definitely time for some boundaries, not just towards the other person, but for yourself as well. Establishing and enforcing boundaries, and just honoring yourself, listening to yourself, and with the seeker, standing in your truth. And it has to be in a position where it has to be win or lose, but you have to do things that honor yourself. So if you really feel that the relationship is not going anywhere, then you have to be honest with yourself and the other person. But if you feel like things could work out, then there definitely needs to be some type of planning. There definitely needs to be some type of sit down conversation and say, you know what, we're not children anymore. We're adults, mature adults, and we really need to get to the bottom of what is happening and how we can move forward if it's necessary, So for those who are single looking for relationships, I feel like the work that needs to be done is parts of you that wants to control others. You may have insecurities, of perhaps like jealousy, or perhaps you have pretty like poor boundaries, and you need to figure out how to establish enforcing boundaries and listening to your inner guidance. So if you find that you attract people who just, pressure you, they just have you do what they want, or you give too much than what you receive, definitely these are things that you need to like heal before you get into, or you proceed into a relationship. I feel like perhaps you might have like insecurities, like with jealousy, possessiveness, we have control. So there might be issues with, wanting to possess the other person. And you have to remember that freedom, like love is freedom. For me personally, which I live by this rule, I feel the greatest gift of love you can bestow on anyone is the gift of individualism. Let them be themselves, not trying to control them, what they want to do, what they think, say, just to let them be and feel more firm within yourself and be more secure within yourself. Okay. So now we're going to move on to what is the lesson and the purpose of this whole energy that's happening right now. And we have take the lead. And we have here, what's this here? We have paradox. Very interesting. Okay, so here. I'm sorry, it's early morning for me. I haven't had my coffee yet. Or my tea, because I don't drink coffee no more. Okay, so the hidden purpose behind this. So, relationships are all about self-discovery. So the lesson here is to take control over your own life. Okay, so like as you saw with the other card about control, instead of trying to control externally, the people around you, you need to learn how to control yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's all you can really do. You cannot control anyone else, their actions, their thoughts, what they want to do. You can only control yourself. If things have been chaotic, and there maybe have been arguments, the best thing for you to do right now, especially, is this is a learning period where it's teaching you self-mastery, to have control over how you react to certain situations, to really think if it's worth arguing, if it's worth reacting. Okay, so definitely, about the control and listening, is really redirecting that and seeing how it lurks within you, basically going within and controlling yourself. And I find that through leading by that example, you can possibly very well inspire, your partner to do the same, because when they react or they act in a certain way, and then they see that you're so unmoved, where maybe not in a cruel way, but whatever comes out from your mouth is from a place of love, subconsciously they'll want to join that. They'll go like, wait, this person is not reacting the same way they always do. And so it really makes them reflect and say, what am I doing? I'm here acting like a fool, and trying to make this person react, and this person is so like whatever, and also I feel like, because paradox, we're talking about like opposites. So this is also about accepting the light of dark within yourself and seeing how those traits reflect through your partners too. And also learning how to accept their light and dark. For some of you, it may be hard because, of course, everybody wants a harmonious relationship. But know that, of course, that if they're not extremely toxic and you do see that the person is making effort, we also have to accept that people have good, bad, well, not even good and bad, but everyone has their light and dark side. and we have to understand that that is part of the process and that's part of the human experience. We can't just be too judgmental. And remember that when we are too judgmental, we have to really go within and see how we are judging ourselves. Okay, so I feel like this is definitely about accepting not just your partner's light and dark sides, but also from yourself. And I feel like this, with in order to do these things, you have to, sometimes you have to like the paradox. I feel like you have to step back and review the relationship so things can actually help the relationship grow. Do you know what I'm saying? Like to be more mature. So I know it makes sense. Sometimes there has to be separateness in order to be togetherness. Sometimes the relationship does require that. Sometimes you do need to have space, but it has to be done in the perspective of trying to find what is wrong inside you and have them do the same, and then see how you guys can come to the middle ground, and how you both can accept each other. I feel like for some of you, perhaps there's some type of like codependency in the relationship. So now it's time for you to take the lead towards, the union. So if you've been giving too much of your power to your partner, letting them decide when you guys should talk or when things should be okay, this is the time for you to take the lead and say, what about what I want? It's good to, give your partner what they want, but to remember that you also matter too. What you want out of the relationship matters too. So it is time for you to take the lead and say, I want to talk about what's going to happen. And, just say this, the things that you really want, and what you will like for the relationship to go. And I feel like with the paradox, with the opposites, I feel like when people respect each other's boundaries, I feel like this is a good way to know that opposites can work out when boundaries are respected. Because when you both are able to respect each other's boundaries, regardless of how opposite you guys are, things could work. Because perhaps there's something that the person doesn't like but you like, or you don't like and they like. So respecting each other's boundaries can make opposites work. So, definitely about the self-mastery, because a lot of being able to accept, a person's opposition from us, it takes a lot of self-control. It takes being in your own position of power, being empowered within yourself to be able to accept a person's boundaries without feeling rejected, without feeling any type of negativity towards it. Okay. And for singles, I feel like taking the initiative in healing parts of you from old experiences and rediscovering yourself. So definitely taking the lead on healing and really going down deep within, because you have the paradox. I feel like this has to do definitely with because if you keep going around saying something's wrong with me, I'm never going to have the relationship that I want or I'm looking for, with the paradox, I feel like doing this type of work, instead of just seeing it as bad and good, learning that the shadow parts of you, the dark parts of you, they're just looking, those are the misunderstood parts of you. These are the areas that need the most compassion from you, that needs the most love from you. So definitely, doing and basically what you're wishing for, if there's things that you're wishing for, what kind of relationship you're wishing for, remember that your subconscious has to match what you want. So if you want a healthy relationship, you want a relationship where you're being heard, where your boundaries are respected, you need to change within how you think about yourself. What are your expectations of yourself? How do you talk to yourself? So you definitely have to do some shadow work, and instead of neglecting that part of yourself, the shadow self, because perhaps you find it too painful, this is definitely a time for you to take the lead on your healing, and just doing all this work, because I feel like this type of work, as you are shifting those things within you and really doing the healing and really realizing how you speak to yourself and what you project into the universe, this will help you. It's basically preparing you into finding the, the person, the indicated person, the right person for you, a healthy relationship for you. So all this stuff that you're going through, you're supposed to be using it to work on the unhealed parts of you and really listening to yourself. It's very important that you listen to yourself and really get to the bottom of things, and even draw boundaries within yourself, in the sense of perhaps you have a lot of negative self-talk. Draw that boundary. Say, I'm not going to do that no more. I'm going to look at a different way, or honor my feelings and say, I have made mistakes before, but I am no longer my mistakes. I learned from them, and so forth. Okay? So this is what is the energies that are trying to teach you, that you need to be aware of, so you can just move along. Okay? So now we're going to go to the shifting, like how you can shift the what the fuck energy that is happening in relationships, and perhaps how you can even cope with the stuff, the fucking shitty stuff that's happening right now. Because I find that it's very, 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 very intense. Okay. So we have here balance. Okay. And we have trust. Okay. So trust. So definitely, as I was saying, there has to be listening to yourself and really understanding what is going on in the chaos. So definitely to have things like to shift these chaotic times within relationships, definitely there needs to be some type of balancing within. Because understand that your inner conflict can affect your significant other, and vice versa. If they have a lot of conflict within, it can also affect you. So definitely balance is imperative. And I feel like, as we were saying, like with the paradox, light and darkness. So you see, like, the balancing, the opposite. So like, there definitely needs to be balance from within, so you could project that, outside of yourself. And it's a good time to ask yourself, are you tapping too much into your masculine energy? Perhaps you're too aggressive. Perhaps they're too aggressive. See how you both can align yourself more with both your feminine and masculine energies. And I feel like, as I said before, this is definitely a time to come to a point in the relationship, to address obtaining balance and getting to the truth of things, because it's just understanding that relationships do go through transformational stages. Okay, I mean, they're supposed to. Okay, relationships are supposed to change. Love is supposed to change. It's supposed to evolve. Okay, so if you find yourself in the same position too long, so perhaps you've been in a relationship for X amount of years, and you found that yes, there has been slightly changes, but there's certain behaviors that are still happening, it is definitely the time to address those issues, and say, like, enough of that. We definitely have to be an adult. We're not children, and really see how we can understand what is going on here. Perhaps I feel like there could have been issues with trust happening during this time. But again, as we were looking from before, the control, there's a lot of insecurities flying around, okay, and a lot of projecting. So, there may have been issues with trust and insecurities, coming to the surface. So definitely there's some deeper issues at hand that both parties need to look at. I feel like definitely this is a time to plan, to address these issues. And I feel like this also is about, to trust that whatever is happening is for your own best interests, and, try not to control the outcome or the person for that matter. Let people do what they truly want to do, and see what they want to do. As I said before, you can only control yourself. You can only control your behavior, your reaction. There is no point in forcing people to do the things that you want. You say what you want out of a relationship, and then you just watch what people prefer to do. And that right there, you need to listen to yourself if it's right for you or if it's not right for you. And you have to be okay with letting this relationship go, or if the person is willing to fix it and address these issues, then you both can work together, and bringing, as the card says, things into balance. So, sometimes we have to let people leave if they want to leave, if they choose, and basically doing what's best for you, and knowing that if whoever decides, like I always say, have said in my other videos, whatever comes, whatever goes, they're both in your favor. So you have to be okay with if a person wants to walk away, and if the person wants to fix things. But if you want to fix things or you want to walk away, then you have to establish that boundary, and you have to put your foot down and say, I'm sorry, but this has come to the end of it. Okay. And for the singles, along with the dark and light side, so this is definitely about balancing your inner world, and to trust the process. This energy is happening for you to trust the things that are going on, and is also teaching you to not settle until you find the right person, and to trust that there is someone out there for you. Relationships are all about self-discovery, so you have the opportunity to heal past hurts, and to enter a new one that's more healthy and more stable. To trust that the universe, like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, it's not like you don't deserve love, but everything is happening to prepare you for the correct love, the healthy love, and a love where you can actually flourish, and be the best that you can be, and vice versa, to the other person. So now I have drawn 2 extra cards for the Pleiadian message. And we have here, well, let me just move these things. It's pretty full. So we have sadness and isolation. And we have, it's backwards. We have release. So before I begin, as you see with release, releasing that control, releasing your control over what you think should happen, So definitely there needs to be a lot of self-mastery, not just in your relationships, but just with you as a person. So there's some work to be done during this time. Okay, so I'm going to see what my guide Sarah wants to say here. Or, dear ones, you are not alone. For this deep period of sadness is only but a transformational stage in your life. We, the Pleiadians, ask that you release what holds you in the darkness and rise up to the light. Know that the things that are happening around you are just a reflection of the things that are happening within you, preparing you to take the journey that you need to heal, to become the best version of yourself, and at the same time inspire those that love you to do the same. We need to take it upon ourselves to make the appropriate changes, to shift ourselves so that the things that we want are reflected around us. So if you want to be heard, learn to listen. Release what no longer serves you. For all that you feel, most of it is just an illusion. You cannot control the outcome. For whatever is set will happen. You are asked to just go with the flow and allow things to happen. And you will see that you will put your eyes upon new beginnings, new opportunities, and you will once again see the sun. So that is the end of this special edition, relationship edition of this What the Fuck forecast. I hope you found this forecast insightful. If you have any requests that you would like to see on the next What the Fuck forecast, feel free to leave in the comment box below. And of course, feel free to like, share, subscribe. And thank you again for watching and supporting my work. And I will see you on the next What the Fuck forecast.